Hi, everybody. Welcome to Legendhaven. This is a special issue of Legendmakers. Today, we're joined by Marisa Stokley. Welcome, Marisa. Good to have you with us.
Hi, Dominic. Thanks for having me on and for having us represent Chrism Press to your constituents.
No, it's so good to have you with us. Marisa is a managing editor for Chrism Press, and she's a marketing director for WhiteFire Publishing Group. Chrism Press and LegendFiction have a special kind of friendship where your leadership in helping Catholic and Orthodox authors is something that we're directly copying and just wanting to follow you in that because we love serving these kinds of people. So can you give a very brief overview of what Chrism is? Because then we want to talk about why authors need to build an author brand and why that's important. So what is Chrism first?
Certainly, I'd be glad to share a little bit about Chrism Press. Chrism Press is the Catholic and Orthodox fiction imprint under the WhiteFire Publishing Group. We launched in 2020 with the specific output of giving Catholic and Orthodox readers fiction that really identifies with their particular faith. So we publish stories that have specific Catholic and Orthodox requirements within it, although it does not have to be explicit. We publish everything from genre fiction down to literary, and we are always open to both new and existing authors and are very excited to welcome more into our group.
Fantastic. Can you give a brief overview of your story? How did you get to a point where you're the managing editor for Chrism?
Certainly. So, as mentioned a minute ago, Chrism Press falls under the umbrella of the WhiteFire Publishing Group. I have been with WhiteFire itself since early 2015, and around the 2018-19 mark, the publishers at WhiteFire, David and Rosanna White, got together with their close friends Karen Yulo and Rhonda Ortiz to talk about this need in the market to meet Catholic and Orthodox fiction readers. They knew behind the scenes that I was of the Catholic denomination, and after the four of them got together to build Chrism Press, they invited me into it. And in the last 2 years, we have since expanded to add another managing editor to our team and to really try to figure out how Chrism Press fits within both the WhiteFire Publishing Group, across all the other imprints, as well as within the larger CBA audience.
Fantastic. So you accept faith-inspired fiction. I love that turn of phrase that you use, and we've totally copied you because it's exactly where we want to go as well. For today's talk, we want to talk about why you need an author brand. Where do you want to start with that? And like, why is that important to you as a publisher to have authors building up their brand?
Author brand is exceptionally important when you are either an existing author or a new one trying to break into the industry. And it all comes down to this idea of how competitive the fiction industry is. As self-publishing became more and more popular, the genres became wider. Readers became more interested in the nuances of books, and publishers then found out that marketing was going to substantially shift. So with that, it becomes so much more important for authors to be doing their own work, both before and after they become published. And a way that publishers can vet the success of a new author, whether they are new to the industry or just new to a particular house, is the relationships that these authors have with their readers. All of that comes down to who the author is and how they're getting the word out about their books.
Okay. So gone are the days when an author could just live in a cabin in the Adirondacks, if that's how you pronounce it, and just send submissions off and just have the publisher do all the work. Now the publisher is looking for authors that are also good at building up not just a brand, but a relationship with their readers.
That's absolutely correct. Because from the moment when a submission hits our inbox, we know on the publisher side that we are going to have our marketing department doing work to get the word out about a book. But it is so much more than that. Authors need to show that they are willing to do the legwork before to get their name out into the industry, and to prove that they are willing to invest into their work and in their reader. So it is so much more simultaneous now than it has ever been before.
And you see that as an exciting thing for authors, don't you?
It really is exciting because, again, with self-publishing as well as writing really becoming a hybrid experiment with people working both full-time doing other types of work as well as writing, it needs to be an effort that shows the author knows who they are and they're willing to experiment and play and figure out what place they are going to take in the industry.
So where do you recommend people start if they maybe just finished their first manuscript, they want to approach Chrism, or this is their second one? Where should they begin?
So the biggest thing, at least from the WhiteFire Publishing Group side, that we are going to look at is their website. An author needs to build their brand in knowing who they are, as well as what type of writing they're going to do. And the place that readers are always going to come to first find that out is the author's website. From color and font to the content that goes onto a website, and then to how often our authors are reaching out to their readers, that's really their home base. Beyond that, we're going to look at social media platforms, and that's going to be everything from the older style Facebook all the way up to the latest book talking way of reaching out to readers. And from Chrism particularly, we don't expect our authors to hit every single platform and to be posting content 24/7. But again, it all comes back to that brand of picking one or two that really fits with who they are and being consistent with it. And then the third piece of that is, of course, going to be what they do with their author newsletter. And that is all, again, going to fall back to what content is in it, how often they are posting, and whether or not they're really putting in the effort to show who they are to their readers.
Why is this important for a publisher, to see that an author knows how to build relationship with their readers? Like, why is that important? And you can't just there's my readers over there, I'm writing my books. Like, why does the authors want to see that?
We want to see it because we know that relationships are the key to successful books. And that means that the readers, when they feel like they know their authors, are going to be much more vocal about helping that author get the word out about their books, whether it be through sales or just word of mouth about sharing who that person is. And unfortunately, as you had mentioned earlier in our talk, authors cannot just stay in their cave anymore because the market is so competitive. And somebody who is staying in a cave only to write isn't going to get the same traction as someone who is willing to put in the work across all the platforms, which then will help get the word out and then help slowly build their sales. And again, with how competitive the market is now and just today's world where everybody is constantly inundated with information, sales and what helps books get out into the world are going to show the success. And publishers don't have the way anymore to just take chances and not have any return on investment.
Right. So this is not just something then that publishers are just expecting authors to sort of gin up and figure out. They're encouraging this and they're looking for it because the readers, we, the readers, are also looking for this kind of interaction, relationship with the readers. We want them to hear us and what we think about their work and give our ideas and our, fan love and so on. But then also the authors, this is the first time in history where authors can be a tweet away or a DM away from their top fans.
That's right.
And work collaborating with them.
It is. It's all collaborative now, and it's all about building the relationships. The authors we've seen who are most successful with this type of ventures are the ones who share their hearts and their lives and their love with their readers. And it's not necessarily only just asking for character feedback about the next name in an upcoming book. It's about sharing the difficulties and the joys of life and really becoming friends with your authors and your readers as much as possible.
So here's a question I should have asked probably earlier. How would you define what a brand is? And what's your definition of a brand?
We would define a brand as what identifies an author exactly as they are to their readers. So it doesn't have to be just genre, but let's say you have a historical romance author. And a reader can immediately pick them out by knowing the style of cover that they'll see, but also the type of story that they write, the types of names that they give their characters, the voice. And then who they see as an author behind all of those stories. So
Okay.
you'll know whether or not that author will post a certain type of quote every Tuesday on their social media platforms,
Mhm.
or do an extra type of gift around Christmas time to help inspire relationships among all of their readers and have them get to know each other. That's all part of their author brand, so that when a reader asks a question of who do I go to if I like this type of book, someone can immediately give a name and say, without a doubt, this is who you'll like, and we can tell you why.
Fantastic. So let's talk for a moment about Chrism. What kind of content is Chrism looking for? What kind of things do you want to publish?
Chrism has recently undertaken an identity as being the new Catholic and Orthodox genre fiction publisher. So, in the last 2 years that we've been out, we have found that we have a strong historical Americana vibe. We've also had a decent amount of science fiction come in. And with that, we are really becoming comfortable with owning that type of label. So, right now, we will look for anything contemporary or historical, sci fi, literary, romance. If it fits within a genre label, send it on over and we will let you know whether it fits for us.
Fantastic. And then are there some basic submission requirements that you do expect from people so that they don't just unsolicit, or send stuff unsolicited?
Certainly. All of our requirements are going to be on our website at chrismpress.com. But just to know off the top of it, what we look for is an initial submission of your first couple of chapters within the body of an email. And then if we get back to you, we'll send you a full list of requirements that will state your proposal, your numbers, your entire manuscript. And generally for our word count, we're looking between 60 to 90,000 words.
Fantastic. Well, Marisa, thanks again for sharing about Chrism. Where can people either contact you or Chrism? Where should they go online to get in
Anybody
touch?
Anybody interested in submitting to Chrism can go to chrismpress.com/submissions. All of the directions will be there, including the email address. And all of our editors are also reachable directly by their first names at chrismpress.com. And again, all of our info for each individual editor is also on that website. So you can find everything right there.
Brilliant. So there you go, good friends. If you're writing a novel or you're somebody who wants to get published, now is a good time to start figuring out what your brand is, what your identity is, and how you're going to build relationships with people. So if this is your first time connecting with us at Legend Haven and you've never heard of Legend Fiction before, Legend Fiction, it's a creative community. Like I said, we take direct inspiration from Chrism for Catholics and Orthodox sci-fi and fantasy fiction writers. All kinds of fiction is welcome, but in particular, we're creating a home for that kind. It's a place where you can give and get feedback, share your works in progress, and maybe double or triple your writing output because we're having so much fun. Come and check us out at legendfiction.com. Thanks again, Marisa. God bless everybody and enjoy the con.
Looking forward to seeing you. Bye.